Our boy opens his eyes in the middle of a city, feeling confused as he cannot remember who he is or where he is. He looks around, attempting to piece together his identity, and realizes he does not recognize his own face, which he glimpses in the window of a passing bus. As he inspects his uniform, which bears the words Earth Union, he notices it resembles a military uniform. This discovery piques his curiosity about whether he is somehow connected to the military. However, despite examining his uniform closely, he cannot recall anything about his identity. While he struggles to remember, he suddenly hears a whining noise and instinctively punches a nearby tree with great force, causing it to fall onto the sidewalk. He finds it strange that he reacted so instinctively to the sound, but he cannot comprehend the source of the monstrous strength he possesses. Just as he grapples with the overwhelming flood of questions, he hears a voice in his head greeting him as an agent. Our boy begins to look around, wondering if the source of the sound is nearby. However, he hears the same sound in his head again, which informs him that it originates from an AI combat support system implanted in his body. Surprised by this revelation, he asks the AI about the location and year. The AI analyzes the banner in his field of vision and concludes that he is in Seoul in the year 2024. It then informs him that he is a military AI model from the year 2082, which astonishes him. He wonders how an AI model can be from 2082 while it is still 2024 and asks the AI if he has time-traveled from the future to the past. The AI responds that it cannot retrieve any activity information since its memory has been reset, leading our boy to realize that the AI has lost its memory, just like him. As he contemplates his identity and the bizarre information he has just received from the AI, he receives a warning that the AI has detected a traffic accident. The AI urges him to dodge the incoming vehicle. However, while he is receiving the accident warning, the AI alerts him to a dangerous object approaching. Our boy quickly dodges the incoming metal rod, but it pierces the man behind him and becomes lodged in the man's stomach. Bystanders quickly call 911 and gather around the individual to ensure he remains conscious. Our boy notices some red and blue colors and asks the AI about them. The AI explains that they are projections from the visual assist device, an AR lens feature that enabled him to dodge the metal rod easily. However, he is troubled by the thought that an innocent civilian could die in 5 minutes. Realizing it would be impossible to get the injured civilian to the emergency room in that time, he asks the AI if there is any way to save him. The AI responds that they should perform emergency field surgery, but our boy feels he is not capable of such a procedure. The AI reassures him that it can perform the surgery and instructs our boy to first assess the patient's condition. Despite having many questions, our boy decides to trust the AI and proceeds to assess the condition of the injured civilian. He informs the AI that the wound is deep and will require major surgery, worried about whether the AI can truly perform it. The AI assures him that it has identified the necessary tools and that the surgery can proceed if our boy can acquire a needle, thread, a small knife, and disinfectant. This surprises our boy, making him question whether he can really trust the AI. A boy sitting beside him asks if he is capable of performing emergency first aid, to which our boy replies that he needs some materials to administer first aid. They then ask the crowd if anyone has the necessary supplies. After gathering the materials from the crowd, who are questioning our boy's identity and whether he is even a doctor, he asks the AI what they should do next, sensing the suspicious gazes of those who doubt his credibility. The AI responds that it will be able to perform the surgery with these materials if our boy grants it temporary control. This revelation raises further questions in our boy's mind. However, he prioritizes saving the injured civilian and grants the AI temporary control without hesitation. Once he does, his hands begin to move on their own, and his fingers operate with incredible speed and precision, giving him hope that, at this rate, the surgery will be successful. Suddenly, the AI warns him that the expected blood loss has exceeded the limit, and the patient's survival rate is decreasing. This shocks our boy, as he had believed the AI would be able to save him. He asks the AI if it can still save the man, but the AI does not respond, and soon after, his hands cease to function as before. This situation becomes even more concerning when our boy realizes that the patient's condition has worsened drastically, leaving him deeply worried. The patient was then transported to the hospital on an emergency basis, and an operating room was prepared immediately due to his significant blood loss. The surgery was successful, as the surgeon informs the other doctor that the patient was able to survive. The doctor asks the surgeon whether the operation went smoothly, to which the surgeon replies that it was quite severe. He explains that he was shocked when he saw the patient. Had they not stopped the bleeding, the patient would have died before even exiting the ambulance, and most of the bleeding had already been addressed. The doctor is perplexed by how this was possible, prompting the surgeon to reveal that both the insides and outsides of the patient had been stitched with regular thread used for sewing clothes. This revelation shocks the doctor. However, the surgeon adds that the more astonishing aspect is that the stitching was so uniform it appeared to have been done by a sewing machine. Both the doctor and the surgeon find this absurd, and as they continue discussing the strange aspects of the surgery, a detective enters. Park Ki-young walks in, asking about the patient. The surgeon responds that he arrived just in time, as the surgery was successful and the patient's condition is now stable. However, the surgeon asks the detective if it is true that the initial surgery on the patient was performed on the street. The detective confirms this, stating that, surprisingly, a box cutter was used instead of a scalpel to access the patient's insides. This revelation shocks both the surgeon and the doctor, as such surgery cannot be performed cleanly with a box cutter unless executed by someone with extraordinary skill, akin to a sword master. Ki-young then tells the doctor that all the witnesses testified to the same account. The doctor then inquires about the type of needle used during the surgery, to which the detective replies that an individual bent a needle from a sewing kit and used it to perform the procedure, an assertion that both the doctor and the surgeon find utterly insane. They then inquire about the person who performed the surgery, to which Ki-young responds that he quietly left after finishing the procedure, before the ambulance arrived, rendering everyone silent. The scene then shifts to our boy, who is washing his hands in a public bathroom, complaining to the AI model about stopping midway, as he thought it had given up. The AI responds that it was merely calculating the surgical route. Our boy then asks the AI why it has lost its memory, to which the AI explains that its memory appears to have been reset. He further inquires if it remembers its name, and the AI replies that it has not been assigned a name yet. Deciding to give the AI a name, our boy chooses to shorten it to John G, which means combat AI. He concludes that, from now on, the AI model will be known as John G. After hearing its name, the AI goes silent for a moment, prompting our boy to wonder why it is not responding again. But the AI model. After a short while, the AI informs our boy that its name has been set to John G and that it can be reset later. Our boy asks if he should change it to Black Fire Dragon, but the AI replies instantly that John G is a good name. He then exits the public bathroom and inquires about the patch on his arm, which reads Earth Union. The AI explains that it is a special operations military uniform for the Earth Union. Curious, our boy asks why they are in 2024 despite being a special forces agent who has lost his memory. John responds that it does not have enough information to determine that. Our boy suggests gathering information using the internet, to which John replies that this is impossible because data input and output are restricted to avoid the risk of hacking. This makes our boy curious about the method John uses to input data. John explains that it gathers information solely through our boy's 5 senses, with all kinds of visual, auditory, olfactory, and immediate sensory inputs shared with it. This data is then analyzed and stored, converting it into information in the information analysis storage. This means that if our boy eats something delicious, John will experience the same sensation. John explains that the output of information is conveyed through the body and voice. However, to do this, John needs permission for temporary control and can only assist when it is deemed necessary for combat. John also mentions limitations, one of which is that it cannot directly attack someone, as it is restricted to assisting with aiming. After hearing this, our boy realizes that it is literally a combat AI, as the name suggests. To gather information about why they are here, our boy needs to experience everything through his body so the AI can process it. He decides to visit a PC cafe to gather information, which makes John curious about whether our boy has recovered his memory. However, our boy tells John that he believes they can collect a lot of information from this place, although they need to enter first, a step he is currently unable to take due to his memory. Thus, he resolves to earn his first 10,000 won. Our boy considers earning money through singing and asks John if it can use his vocal cords to sing. John responds that it can, as this capability may be required in the field. Not fully understanding what John means by the field, our boy decides to grant temporary control and stands in the middle of a space where other singers are already performing. He is amazed to learn that singing is considered quite necessary on the battlefield, as John has everything prepared, even down to the spoon. John explains that this feature was introduced to boost morale among soldiers. However, our boy does not understand why they are singing among other performers, as he cannot expect to outshine their remarkable talent. John tells him that if they can showcase a higher level of skill than the singers in front of them, they will attract the crowd's attention. Nevertheless, our boy thinks that the crowd's attention would likely come in the form of booing or ridicule. Worried about being made fun of, our boy instructs John not to overdo it, despite recognizing that John is a highly capable AI. He fears that John might end up making fun of him, but John acts as if it hasn't heard his concerns and starts the show. After granting John temporary control over his vocal cords, our boy begins to sing, astonishing the audience present. Following John's instructions, he also poses, as engaging the audience is essential. The crowd finds our boy's tone incredible. However, they cannot understand why he keeps singing from the middle of the song. John explains that the songs were collected from the street, so they do not have access to either the beginning or the end. Our boy successfully acquires the minimal funds he desired and decides to leave. However, his audience is now saddened because they want him to sing more. Then, we see a yellow-haired girl from the next building listening to our boy sing, and she is impressed. She thinks to herself that she wants to hear the song a little longer. After earning money through singing, our boy starts walking toward the PC cafe to gather information about the Earth Federation, their purpose, and many other matters. He asks John what they should do if they are unable to find anything. John responds that their priority is to infiltrate the local environment discreetly and blend in naturally, then find a way to contact the command center. Our boy appreciates the idea of discreet infiltration and considers that the PC cafe is hiring employees, which John agrees is optimal, as it would allow them to gather information without worrying about food supply issues. He instructs John to apply immediately. Our boy wants to stay at the cafe temporarily in case they get the job, as they will need a place to sleep at night. John informs our boy that if they can secure lodging, along with food, clothing, and shelter, they will be able to take care of everything necessary. Our boy reminds John that they have not yet sorted out the clothing situation, to which John responds that there is a solution. The military uniform our boy is wearing has a disguise feature. By using chameleonic shape memory special fiber, the outfit can change into various forms. Additionally, the outfit can be disassembled into multiple pieces of cloth, making it easier to reassemble into different styles. Our boy experiments with this feature and creates a strange costume resembling the singers they saw earlier. However, John remains silent, which our boy finds odd. As he wonders about the costume, he notices two people climbing the stairs, mocking the clothing of another individual they encounter. However, when their eyes fall on our boy's costume, they are shocked and quickly move past him without saying a word. This reaction makes our boy realize that they were taken aback by his outfit, to which John responds, equally astonished that such a reaction is possible. Recognizing that the costume is so bizarre it even unsettles an AI, our boy decides to reassemble it into casual clothes and adds a cap, which John believes is an excellent choice for a special agent. Our boy then enters the room and scans the entire area, noting that 96% of the users are currently playing games. John also ensures to check the convenience facilities, verify the payment methods, and review the status of the food. After that, John identifies a suitable place for temporary residence and informs our boy that this location is optimal for his current situation. Our boy then meets the owner of the PC cafe and informs him that he is applying for a job. However, the owner finds it presumptuous that our boy does not have an identity card and is unable to proceed with the application since he is filling in for a missing employee. The owner asks our boy to bring the ID tomorrow and to write the resume immediately. He suspects our boy to be the type who comes to the cafe merely to sit around and slack off, assuming he is someone who can only cook instant ramen, despite having a nice face. Consequently, The owner asks if our boy is capable of handling a frying pan, emphasizing that he needs to know how to use one since they sell food here. John informs our boy that it has field tactical cooking skills designed for soldier condition management. Our boy informs the owner that he can handle cooking, to which the owner responds by asking him to make some fried rice. John highlights the necessary ingredients, and our boy grants temporary control of his hands to John, instructing him to prepare delicious fried rice. John initiates field tactical cooking and begins to cook swiftly, causing our boy to feel as if his body is moving lightly, almost as if he instinctively remembers how to do this. The owner of the cafe is surprised to see our boy skillfully prepare fried rice from scratch, as he initially expected him to simply stir-fry some frozen rice. What astonishes the owner even more is the speed at which our boy works, so fast that the owner can hardly see his hands. When our boy presents the finished dish to the owner expresses skepticism. He believes that while it was done quickly, that does not necessarily indicate quality, and he assumes it may not be well cooked due to the rush. The owner falls silent after taking the first bite, leaving our boy wondering if it tastes bad. After a brief pause, the owner remarks that he cannot handle this dish, as the fried rice is so delicious that it would be a crime. While the owner enjoys the tastiest fried rice he has ever eaten, his niece, Unseo, walks in, curious about his unusual behavior in the middle of the day. The owner introduces his niece to our boy, explaining that Unseo is also an employee at the cafe. However, the owner does not need to introduce our boy to her, as Unseo already knows him from his performance outside a few hours earlier. She asks our boy why he is working at a PC cafe despite having such a mesmerizing voice, to which he responds that he is good at singing and can pretty much do anything else. John reminds our boy that it is actually John who excels at everything, but our boy tells John to be quiet. Meanwhile, the owner is delighted to have a young employee who can cook, especially since Unseo struggles with even the simplest tasks, often burning or spilling instant food, which she finds quite embarrassing. The owner asks our boy if he has a preferred time for work and whether he would like lunch or dinner facilities. Our boy responds that he prefers part-time shifts, allowing him to work only at specific times. Moreover, he requests that these working hours be flexible. The owner is taken aback by such demands, but our boy continues and expresses a desire to stay in the storage room temporarily while he works, as he plans to remain there for a while. The owner inquires if he does not have a home, to which our boy replies that he is out for an extended period. While the owner finds this situation quite difficult, he realizes that our boy's skills are too valuable to overlook. The nearby PC cafe has gained popularity due to its food offerings, which makes the owner somewhat envious. Seizing this opportunity to enhance his own cafe's reputation for food, he agrees to let our boy stay in the storage room and provides free meals, along with double pay for a week, contingent upon our boy's cooking increasing sales. Surprised by the offer of double pay, our boy recognizes that he cannot let this opportunity slip away and decides to prepare a tasty dish for the two customers who have just entered, as they believe that the food served in PC rooms is subpar. Our boy prepares a plate of delicious fried rice for the customers who had previously complained about the low quality of food and asks Unseo to bring him a plate so he can serve it to them. Both the owner and Unseo are impressed by the perfect plating of the fried rice, to the point that they are tempted to try it themselves. However, the owner instructs Unseo to deliver the order to the customers. The two customers, initially skeptical of the food quality at a PC cafe, find our boy quite bold for serving fried rice. One of them decides they should simply taste it and then continue on their way. Meanwhile, Unseo brings their order, surprising both customers with the prompt delivery, as it arrived before they could even start their game. They struggle to believe that what they see is fried rice, given its unusually elegant presentation. However, Unseo, who is also drooling over the dish, assures them that it is indeed what they ordered. The customers decide to give it a try and, as they take their first bites, they are flooded with nostalgic feelings reminiscent of the times they managed to sneak a meal from their trainer after a strenuous workout. They mistake the PC cafe for a fried rice hotspot because of how delicious it is and order 2 more plates. Other customers, witnessing the praise from the initial diners, also decide to order fried rice for themselves. Unseo rushes to the counter to inform the owner that they have received 12 orders for fried rice, which shocks him. He asks our boy if he can handle such a large number of orders. Our boy whispers to John, inquiring whether it is capable of managing such a significant request. John responds that the tactical field cooking technique it employs is inherently suited for large-scale recipes. John further explains that the cooking is fundamentally delicious, as providing quality food is crucial. Soldiers would feel demoralized if they were forced to eat poor meals after risking their lives. Impressed by this skill, our boy gives control to John, instructing him to prepare a generous 15 servings. After 3 hours, the owner reviews the cafe's sales and finds them to be remarkable. This prompts our boy to ask the owner if he has secured double pay for the week, to which the owner confirms it is indeed a certainty, instructing him to maintain this level of performance. The owner decides to clean the storage room for our boy and inquires about his name, to which our boy responds that his name is Na Kangye. The owner then goes to stock up on ingredients for Kangyin, while Unseo, on the other hand, is unconscious after consuming the leftover fried rice, which he found extremely delicious. John asks Kangyin if he remembers his name, to which Kangyin replies that it just slipped his mind. Although Kangyin manages to secure a place for himself, he realizes that he needs an ID to receive payment. He asks John if it can hack into the database, to which John responds that it possesses hacking skills developed from the early 21st century to 2082. This piques Kangin's curiosity, leading him to ask whether John can also hack a bank, as that would eliminate the need to work in the PC cafe. However, John informs Kangin that its skills are limited to local infiltration. Kangin then inquires if John can forge an ID, to which John confidently replies that it can easily do so and requests temporary control of Kangin's hands, which Kangin grants without hesitation. John easily hacks into the Korean government administrative database and begins searching for individuals with similar information to Kangin. However, John detects an unknown issue, which surprises Kangin, as John informs him that information for Na Kangin is already registered in the database. John then attempts to match the fingerprints of both Kangins, resulting in a 100% similarity. Kangin cannot believe what he is seeing. He is from the 2082 Earth Federation Special Forces, and John was also created in the same year. Kangin asks John to check if there is an Earth Federation Special Forces unit in 2024. John searches online information from the UN and major countries, but finds no record of such a unit in 2024. This prompts Kangin to wonder whether he simultaneously exists in both 2024 and 2082. John, however, tells him that they do not have sufficient information to make a determination. Kangin then asks John to thoroughly examine his personal information, believing there may be an important clue. Unfortunately, the only unique finding is that Kangin is unemployed. However, as they are working, John informs Kangin that Unseo is nearby. Kangin immediately aborts what he was doing and turns his attention toward Unseo, who is surprised by his typing speed and asks if he is also able to develop programs. Instead of answering, Kangin tells Unseo that it is rude to peek at the monitors of others in a PC cafe. Unseo apologizes and informs Kangin that her uncle gave her a card for shopping with him, inviting him to join her. Kangin feels relieved to know that Unseo did not look at the contents of the screen. The scene then shifts to the shopping mart, where Unseo and Kangin have finished shopping for the PC cafe. Unseo is amazed to see Kangin quickly selecting items, while Kangin, on the other hand, is only picking the highest quality items as instructed by John. Unseo is further impressed by how easily Kangin can lift heavy items, such as frying pans. However, Kangin remarks that they are light. Unseo then asks Kangin if they should do more shopping, to which he responds that he cannot since it is his boss's card. However, Unseo reassures him that it is not an issue, as her uncle is the owner of the cafe. As they continue walking, Unseo bumps into a man, causing her to stumble backward. One of the men warns her to walk carefully if she does not want to get hurt. Kangin finds the gazes of the two men quite intimidating. John warns him that the two individuals he is observing are hostile, asking Kangin if it should shift to combat mode, but Kangin does not give any instructions. Meanwhile, Unseo is frightened by their intimidating looks. Tears stream down her face as she apologizes for bumping into them, promising to be extra careful in the future. One of the brothers, realizing they have unintentionally frightened a girl, reassures Eun-seo that she does not need to worry. He explains that his brother's hostile demeanor was due to being in a bad mood from losing games all day. After Eun-seo thanks them for forgiving her, the two brothers go their separate ways, while John informs Kang-in that the situation is safe since the targets are moving away. As they enter the cafe, Kang-in checks on Eun-seo to ensure she is okay, to which she replies that she was just a little startled. Upon entering the PC cafe, the owner rushes over to Eun-seo. He informs her that they have an emergency, as their internet connection has suddenly been cut off, resulting in chaos within the cafe. The owner mentions that he has called for help, but it will not arrive for another hour, leaving them to handle the situation on their own. Eun-seo expresses her concern about how they can resolve such a significant issue, while Kang-in, on the other hand, asks John if the disconnection occurred because they accessed the government database, considering the possibility that they might have been traced by a hacker. However, John believes that no one could track them using the security technology from the 2020s. Despite this, Kang-in insists that they should still investigate, to which John replies that they need to check the temporary base's server. Kang-in then inquires about the server's location, and the owner informs him that it is located at the counter, but he asks Kang-in why he is asking about it. Kang-in explains that he intends to fix the connection issue, and proceeds to walk towards the counter to identify the problem. John begins investigating the problem through the server and concludes that there are no traces of anyone actively tracking them. However, John does find evidence of a hacking attempt. Kang-in is puzzled as to why anyone would attempt to hack a PC cafe. John explains that someone may have used the cafe server for testing, noting that a personal data hacking program is installed on the computer. This program clashed with the security software, resulting in the internet outage. Kang-in instructs John to locate the hacker, prompting John to trace the hacker's signal. He identifies the hacker's location, revealing that the hacker bounced the signal through 7 servers to avoid detection. John notes that 6 of these locations point to foreign countries, while 1 is situated nearby. Kang-in realizes that the hacker must have physically come to install the program, wondering if they are the same individuals he encountered earlier. As Kang-in contemplates the identity of the culprit, a customer enters to complain about the internet outage, stating that he was disconnected right in the middle of his promotional match. However, Eun-seo informs the customer that they will be compensated and that their time will be extended for free. The customer responds that this is the least they should do, as he was about to win his promotional game. Kang-in realizes that the customers are frustrated, so he asks John if he has a solution. John suggests that Kang-in offer the customers some food, noting that the more underdeveloped the area, the more effective the food tends to be. He provides Kang-in with a list of simple battlefield snacks and requests him to select one. Kang-in chooses option number 3, to which John responds that it is an excellent choice, as it has the lowest ingredient cost. While Eun-seo continues to apologize to the customer, Kang-in prepares the snack and offers it to him, explaining that it is on the house. He also apologizes for the inconvenience caused by the PC cafe. Kang-in wears a professional smile and assures the customer that the internet will not go out again, as the servers have been successfully stabilized. The customer becomes furious, as he believes a side snack cannot compensate for his loss. However, he decides to taste it, warning Kang-in that he will not let him go if it turns out poorly. After taking the first bite of the delicious snack Kang-in made, the customer falls silent. After a moment, he regains his composure, feeling energized and optimistic about achieving silver rank that day. He is also eager to get a refill of the delicious snack he just had. Eun-seo, observing how the snack calmed the frustrated customer, wonders if Kang-in has added some magic powder to it. After taking a bite herself, she finds that it soothes her soul. Eun-seo realizes it is a spicy snack, with a hint of sweetness and sourness, which she finds quite amazing. She is curious about how Kang-in managed to create such a flavor, but Kang-in simply replies that it is nothing special. He just threw some ingredients together. He then informs Eun-seo that he is going outside to address the internet issue and asks her to distribute the snacks to the affected customers. Additionally, Kang-in mentions that he has left some snacks in the kitchen for her and her uncle to enjoy. However, this leads Eun-seo to conclude that Kang-in is the hero of modern times. The scene then shifts to the street, where Kang-in is walking toward the hacker's den, the individuals responsible for the attempted breach at their base. John instructs him that they must eliminate the enemy who initiated this attack. Our boy reminds John that this is precisely why they are tracking down the hacker and tells her to lead the way. John activates navigation mode and notes that there are no signs of nearby cameras or external guards. Furthermore, John mentions that there is no tactical detection equipment in the vicinity, which makes Kang In realize that the hacker has made significant efforts to remain hidden. John leads Kang In into one of the buildings, where he hears voices coming from a room. John amplifies the audio for Kang In, filtering out noise and improving sound quality, allowing him to listen attentively to the discussion in the room. Kang In realizes that some individuals are threatening a boy for creating something deemed useless. However, the boy insists that what he produced was a test version, assuring them that everything would proceed smoothly once he fixes the bugs. The man assures the boy that he will give him a lot of money and send him home once he completes the program. However, the boy didn't realize the nature of the job and begins to beg the man not to kill him. John informs our boy that the voice analysis suggests a civilian is being threatened, something our boy had also realized. John tells Kang In that they should evacuate the civilian after rescuing him. Without wasting any time, Kang In forcefully kicks the door open, surprising everyone inside the room. The boy initially thinks Kang In is one of the attackers. The gang leader asks his subordinate if they had properly locked the door, unable to understand how an uninvited guest managed to get in. His subordinates assure him that they had tightly secured the door. To make up for the failure, one of them lunges at our boy to throw him out instantly, but ends up getting knocked out by a powerful blow to the chin, further shocking everyone in the room. The boy whom the bad guys were harming is Song Hwan, a first-year student at Korea University. Song Hwan has been interested in computer hacking since he was young, which allowed him to become a skilled white-hat hacker, to the point where even professionals sought his advice. While searching for a part-time job to pay his student loans, Song Hwan received an email offering him $2 million to conduct a security check for a company run by someone they knew. Surprised by the offer, which promised to take only 3 to 4 days but paid as much as a month of part-time work, he felt he had no choice but to accept. Excited to start a job in his field of expertise, he began right away. However, Song Hwan soon realized it was a scam, as the company was not legitimate. Feeling despondent about the possibility of dying before ever experiencing anything meaningful, he prepared himself for the worst. A hero appears in the form of Kang In, who asks John whether he did the right thing by charging in. John responds that they are currently on a stealth mission, and any enemy that interferes must be eliminated. However, Kang In is surprised that he managed to knock down a large man with just a kick. John advises Kang In to be careful, noting that the 2 men he encountered earlier in front of the PC cafe are armed with sharp knives. Still uncertain about his decision to charge in, Kang In asks John if he should be scared. John reassures him, stating that as a special agent, his body is enhanced, and with John's assistance, Kang In's chances of victory are 100%. One of the scammers demands to know Kang In's identity. After ensuring everything is under control, Kang In replies that he was just passing by and heard someone being beaten, so he came in to stop thugs like them from ganging up on others. The scammers become furious at being called thugs, and one of them rushes at Kang In with a knife. Meanwhile, John informs Kang In that he has unintentionally provoked the enemy, intensifying their hostility. Kang In acted this way because he felt physically safe from their attacks and decided to focus on psychological tactics as well. As one of the scammers prepares to attack, Kang In kicks upward, knocking the attacker out. Observing his subordinates being taken down one after another, the leader of the scammers decides to confront Kang In himself, lunging at him with a knife. However, Kang In effortlessly kicks the leader's head to the ground. Impressed by his own strength and the effectiveness of his kick, Kang In notices that his movements feel somewhat mechanical. John then explains that in the last fight, Kang In used a kick 5 times stronger than that of an average person, yet Kang In perceived it as a light kick. Curious about the source of his strength, he wonders if he is using performance-enhancing substances, but John clarifies that such inefficient methods are not part of Kang In's strength enhancement. Kang In also realizes that John has enhanced not only his eyes and ears, but also other parts of his body. Meanwhile, Song Hwan wonders if Kang In is crazy for muttering to himself for a while, making him question whether Kang In is communicating through a radio like a policeman or if the government sent him to catch him since he is a hacker who has committed many illegal acts in the past. Song Hwan becomes anxious as he recalls instances of hacking 5 million mesos. This leads him to blame his past self for those misdeeds. Without wasting any time, Song Hwan tells Kang In, whom he believes to be a policeman or government officer, that he hasn't done anything wrong, as he was only following orders from those individuals, begging Kang In to let him go. However, Kang In finds Song Hwan's behavior strange, as he hasn't even accused him of anything. John, who has been observing Song Hwan for a while, informs Kang In that there is a 90% probability that Song Hwan is telling the truth, as he is likely a white hat hacker. This makes Kang In curious whether John is truly capable of distinguishing the truth. John explains that he has a skill for analyzing the facial expressions and behaviors of captives to assess their credibility. The more one corners a captive, the more accurate this ability becomes. However, Kang In still suspects that Song Hwan is lying, as there remains a 10% chance of deceit. He then asks Song Hwan about his purpose for being there. Song Hwan, who still believes Kang In is communicating via radio, responds that he was tricked into taking a part-time security job, which has left him stuck there for 3 days. Song Hwan goes on to tell Kang In that the individuals who hired him are truly malicious, as they have continued to force him into unethical activities even after this job. When Kang In inquires about the specific nature of the tasks he was compelled to perform, Song Hwan explains that they were pressuring him into stock manipulation, requiring him to create a comment manipulation program for stock forums, which those individuals then installed at nearby PC cafes. Kang In doubts that those muscleheads are clever enough to conceive such schemes, leading him to conclude that they are likely subcontractors with someone else orchestrating their actions. He realizes there is no need to become further involved, as the scammers are not targeting his temporary base. However, he decides he cannot let them go unpunished and must address the mastermind behind this operation. Therefore, he instructs Song Hwan to report these individuals to the police, as he is unable to do so himself. Kang In tells Song Hwan to call the police and inform them that he was kidnapped by these individuals, which shocks Song Hwan, who assumed Kang In was a policeman. Song Hwan warns Kang In that he might end up in trouble if the police are called, but Kang In reassures him that nothing will happen, as no one knows who he is due to his mask. He is merely someone who saved Song Hwan after hearing a commotion. Kang In then gets up to leave, having no intention of waiting for the police. However, Song Hwan asks Kang In if he can hit the scammers a little. Kang In responds that there is no need for permission, but Song Hwan expresses concern that they might wake up. Our boy assures him that none of them will regain consciousness and that they will not be able to block Song Hwan's strike, allowing him to hit them as much as he wants. Song Hwan feels encouraged by this and strikes the leader of the scammers in the head. Contrary to Kang In's assurances, the leader wakes up, shocking both Kang In and Song Hwan, who let out a startled scream. The police arrive at the crime scene after a while and are startled to discover the culprits brutally beaten. They begin investigating Song Hwan, the only conscious individual present. Song Hwan explains that the scammers had held him in this location for 3 days, beating him and forcing him to create a stock manipulation program. He further mentions that they threatened to kill him if he failed. However, the officer does not understand the reason behind the severe injuries sustained by the criminals and suspects that Song Hwan may be responsible. Song Hwan assures him that he did not harm them. Instead, it was a passerby who heard the commotion and intervened to help him. Like Kang In, the inspector believes these individuals lack the intelligence to devise a stock manipulation scheme, leading him to suspect that someone else is backing them. He orders that the suspects be interrogated once they regain consciousness in the hospital, hoping they might inadvertently reveal something during questioning while under the influence of medication. However, they are unable to locate the individual who incapacitated the criminals, which raises concerns for the inspector regarding their safety. Nevertheless, his assistant assures him that the criminals will not die, despite having some broken bones, reminding the inspector that it was the criminals who brandished the knives first. The assistant then asks the inspector for further instructions, to which the inspector replies that they should secure the CCTV footage to determine the identity of the individual. He clarifies that there is no need to arrest him. However, it is too significant an incident to overlook without investigation. The scene then shifts to Kang In, who is walking down the street when John warns him about a security camera up ahead, instructing him to turn right. Kang-in asks John whether he confirmed that the building they entered earlier did not have any CCTV, to which John responds affirmatively, stating that they must thoroughly complete the mission. Kang-in then recalls his surprise at how quickly the scammer recovered after being struck. However, John explains that the quick recovery was a reflex reaction, akin to a knee-jerk response, attributed to their exceptional reflexes. Kang-in then asks John if he has a phone, to which John responds that he does not possess anything like that. Consequently, Kang-in decides to acquire a smartphone through an installment plan since he is broke and cannot afford to pay in full. 3 days had passed since that incident, and Kang-in went to the registered address to gather information about himself the day after rescuing the hacker civilian. The registered location turned out to be an empty, barren field in Gangwon province, with only rumors remaining that it had burned down. This discovery prompts Kang-in to reflect on his identity, pondering whether he was truly communicating with the future or if he was a person from the future who had come to the past. After exhausting all leads in his investigation, Kang-in had no choice but to return empty-handed. Meanwhile, the PC cafe was able to regain its peaceful atmosphere, allowing the business to thrive even more. According to part-timer Yunseo, the cafe is now a must-visit spot, thanks to a certain influencer. However, the cafe's special dish is only served when Kang-in is present, as they make sure not to sell it while he is out gathering information. This strategic sales tactic unexpectedly had a significant effect, resulting in the cafe being filled with customers, regardless of Kang-in's presence. Some patrons come to the cafe solely to enjoy the special dish, while most stay and use the cafe for at least an hour or two. Judging by the expression on the owner Cha Dong-sik's face, it appears that he has had to hire more part-timers, as the number of customers has not diminished at all. Kang-in is surprised when he spots Song-hwa, the civilian he rescued from captivity 3 days ago. Dong-sik notices that Song-hwa is studying computer science, to which Song-hwa responds that he has been skilled with computers for a long time. He also offers to repair any computers that malfunction in the cafe, which makes Dong-sik happy, as he now has 2 reliable part-timers. Meanwhile, Yunseo hopes her uncle considers her one of the reliable ones as well. The reason Song-hwa applied for a position here was that he felt guilty for causing damage to the PC cafe. Even though he was forced to do it, Song-hwa decides to work hard in the cafe with a heart full of remorse. Dong-sik then introduces Kang-in to Song-hwa, explaining that this cafe has become a famous spot thanks to Kang-in. Dong-sik further adds that, although Kang-in works as a chef, he is also skilled with computers, so he encourages both of them to help each other and get along. Song-hwa gazes at Kang-in for a while, making Kang-in wonder if he recognizes him. However, Song-hwa breaks the silence by asking Kang-in if he is older than him, to which Kang-in responds that he is indeed older. Song-hwa then introduces himself, requesting Kang-in to take care of him, and shakes hands with him. However, John warns Kang-in that working with the person he rescued could jeopardize his cover, recommending that Kang-in ask Dong-sik to fire him. Kang-in, however, finds it harsh to have Song-hwa fired when he is already calling him older brother. The scene then shifts to Seoul City, where Kang-in is returning after his daily shopping, while John double-checks the items Kang-in has bought. Making sure they don't leave anything behind, John verifies that they have purchased all the required items and keeps the receipt safe. This makes Kang-in realize that John is extremely meticulous about money and food. However, John suddenly starts generating random words, leading Kang-in to wonder if the bot has malfunctioned. While Kang-in finds John's money management and danger detection helpful, he believes that the real joy lies in simply enjoying food, something he thinks John will also agree with, as they conducted taste tests while buying sauces. As Kang-in teases John, John issues a warning about a fire hazard. However, Kang-in sees nothing even remotely related to that, causing him to believe that John is pretending to change the subject. John insists that it isn't a malfunction. Unable to spot any signs of fire, Kang-in concludes that John is lying. Just as they are engaged in this back and forth, a blast occurs in one of the buildings, and a fire breaks out, engulfing multiple floors at once. People scream for help, wishing for someone who can save their lives. Kang-in is shocked to see real fire, but he reassures himself that there is nothing to worry about because his body is equipped with combat AI support. His eyes feature augmented reality technology, and his ears contain auxiliary modules. Additionally, the enhanced strength in his legs enables him to extinguish a fire like this in one shot. With this confidence, he takes a fighting stance to launch a fire-extinguishing beam, only to embarrass himself in front of a child who is just passing by. John asks Kang In if he is thinking clearly, prompting Kang In to remember that he does not possess a fire-extinguishing beam. John muses that if Kang In had something like that, or a freezing ray, he wouldn't be considered human. Realizing he lacks such abilities, Kang In asks John about the easiest way to put out a fire. John suggests calling a fire truck, as it is currently the quickest way to extinguish the flames. While they wait for the fire truck, Kang In notices a girl trapped on the roof of the building, crying for help. He uses John to determine that it will take at least 4 minutes for the truck to arrive, during which time the fire is likely to reach the roof. If they do not act swiftly, there is a 99% chance that the girl will lose her life. John identifies a route from outside the building that avoids the toxic gases, as entry from within the building is impossible. Meanwhile, bystanders think Kang In is crazy for attempting to save those trapped in the fire. Kang In learns through John that there are no people left inside the building, as they most likely evacuated right after the explosion. This knowledge allows Kang In to climb without worry, while onlookers marvel at his climbing abilities. John warns Kang In of an impending explosion, prompting him to secure his grip tightly and appreciate his exceptional grip strength, even as he ignores the advance warning from John. Kang In reaches the roof unscathed and successfully rescues the girl just before the fire spreads. She thanks her savior for rescuing her from this unbelievably dangerous situation. However, another explosion occurs nearby, prompting John to alert Kang In about the increased rate at which the fire is spreading. This poses a danger to Kang In, as their chances of survival diminish. Kang In expresses curiosity about whether they are truly going to die, shocking the girl, who believed he was there to save her. He reassures her that he is merely calculating their options. Kang In then asks John if he should use his enhanced abilities to jump to another building while carrying the girl. However, John advises against this course of action, explaining that it would expose Kang In's supernatural abilities to the public, making it more difficult for him to live discreetly. While Kang In believes that any option is better than dying, he ultimately decides to heed John's advice and asks whether they should use the clothesline hanging from the roof to escape the building. John rejects this idea as well, pointing out that the lower parts of the building are blocked by fire, rendering all directions unsafe for movement. Kang In then suggests tying the clothesline to the next building and performing a tightrope crossing. John agrees but acknowledges the girl's concern, as she finds the idea of tightrope walking at such a height to be reckless. Kang In reassures her that he will handle the crossing and encourages her to simply assist him. John explains that securing the rope will help Kang In maintain his balance while on the line and adds that Kang In should throw the ropes across once they are tied together. However, Kang In believes it would be more effective for John to control the throw, but John cannot take control of that action, as throwing motions are akin to attacks. Kang In finds it amusing that this AI bot can cook food, but cannot perform a simple action like throwing. He decides to throw the rope himself, asking John to help him make fine adjustments. The clothesline rope securely attaches to the other building, prompting Kang In to grab the girl, who is whining, and begin walking on the tightrope. This act amazes some onlookers, while others are frightened by the daring feat and suggest stacking something below them, as a fall could be fatal. Kang In asks John if they are moving at a good speed, to which John replies that they are moving at optimal speed. However, the girl pleads with Kang In to go as slowly as possible. As the girl continues to whine for him to slow down, John detects an unexpected situation and warns Kang In that the rope is breaking faster than originally anticipated. Kang In questions how much time they have before the rope breaks, and John responds that it will snap before they can make it to the other side of the building. Kang In, having gotten much closer to the next building, Kang In suddenly experiences severe wobbling in the rope as it continues to break. To ensure that the girl reaches the next building safely, he throws her onto the roof of the adjacent structure, ultimately saving her life. However, just as he throws the girl to the other side, John issues a warning that the rope has snapped, causing the already unbalanced Kang In to fall.